I just want to take care of a few items over here, housekeeping. So if you decided to learn more about the work with children in Brazil, the booth up front, you have some literature, some flyers, and some brochures, and also a program that you have called the Dream Builders, how we can help the dreams come true for the children in Brazil, and how you can do the same thing for your country and community. I think I'd like to ask you to share with your friends what expectations do you have for today, for this class? What expectations do you have? You can share with you what expectations do you have?
Maybe to know how to deal with the children, the hurting children.
Okay.
Different ways.
Okay.
Which children?
The needy children. Yeah. Okay. So I think I would like to start it out and introduce myself. My name is Marques, and I'm the founder of the ministry 38 years ago. And my wife and I, we've been in the journey together. And she's from England, and she works as a missionary in the past in Africa. And we met, and we've been working in Brazil. And we're going to celebrate our anniversary now, the 24th of April now. So it's been a good journey together. It's been a 24/7. And together we make things happen for the whole ministry in Brazil. Not too long ago, I walked into a restaurant in Fortaleza, Brazil, and this young girl came and said to me, "Hello, Brother Mark." And I didn't recognize her right away. I said, "Deborah." And Deborah, yes, I was a student at CBC. Oh, yes. So she grew up in the ministry, and later went to college. And she finished a degree in HR, human resource manager, and she coordinated a group of waitresses in the restaurant she worked for. And she was a greeter at that day, and she was quite happy. Of course, makes me very happy as well to see the fruit of my work and with the children in Brazil. And I think a lot of what that has to do about today. When David asked me about to share a little bit of this, and I felt about, wow, so much more people qualified to do this, talking about the hurting children in Brazil, hurting children, how to develop a heart for children. But I think David saw my story and my experience and work and asked me to share this with you. And I do hope that I can in some way help you to influence you in your work with children, encourage. And if you're not doing the work with children right now, hurting children, that you can be inspired to do something. So I just wanted to contribute a little bit with your story in your life. And of course, what I'm doing today is not something I ever dreamed about doing it. It was far away from me to become a missionary, help with kids, from my upbringing. And as middle class in Brazil, you've been taught to be lawyers and doctors and engineers and businessmen and so on. And that's how my family raised three boys. And one of my brothers today is one of the assistants to the vice president of Brazil. The other one is an architect in Rio de Janeiro, in Ohio, and myself. And because my first dream was to become a fighter pilot. It was my first driving to become a fighter. Oh, I love speed, I love danger, I like risk. And I passed the medical exams, but I did not pass the math and the calculus and so on. And I was very frustrated. I didn't have any purpose or vision. And I got involved in drugs. And so my life went kind of on the backwoods for a little while until I came to Christ. And when I came to Christ, He immediately gave me back the four children that I grew up with as my forefront calling for ministry. But I didn't respond right away. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to follow other dreams. I want to come to America. I want to get a college education. I want to follow the ways that I felt was the ways I wanted to do things. And but in 1983, 83, the Lord began to just press on the thumb on my heart about the children in Brazil. And I said, Lord, perhaps you can send somebody else. Perhaps you can choose somebody else, or you can avoid the call, or you can say, not now, but later, or you can say, I don't have enough money. And there, I gave all the excuses on that. Don't have enough money, don't have enough time, it's not for me. And finally I gave up. Okay, Lord, what do you want me to do? I said, I don't have any money, don't have a foundation, don't have any means. It's what's in your hands that you can do it. And I remind me of the call of Moses about what is in his hands, and then God uses whatever in his hands to deliver the people from Egypt. And I said to myself, well, I can give the kids bread and coffee. But I didn't say I can give the children bread and coffee with an intention of starting a ministry for street children. I wanted to prove God that there's nothing you could do with bread and coffee. I needed provision, I needed money, I needed cash. And that's my mind. And so I went into the streets on the nights, and kids sniffing glue on the streets, sleep on cardboard as you saw it up there, helping them to teach their name on the sidewalk, didn't know how to spell their names. And I gave coffee, I gave bread, I shared the gospel, I led them to the Lord. And I was feeling good about it, and I said, I'm going to walk out of here and bye-bye. And one of the kids, are you coming back, shouted to me, brother, are you coming back tomorrow? And in my heart, I have no intention of coming back the next day. I just want to prove God that I didn't want to do anything like this. And that little call, are you coming back tomorrow, resonated in my heart up to this day. Because I knew back then I was going to either follow my ways or answer to the call God had in my life. It's okay, Lord, I give it a try. I will keep moving on. I will share the people the needs. And some people began to give a bunk beds. I leased a house on the other side of town. Somebody gave a stove. Somebody gave an oven. Somebody volunteered time. But it wasn't enough money to just run in a ministry. So I came back to America. I shared the picture of the church, and the church took an offer of $800. So $800 the first offering that I got from the church. And we've been trusting God since 1983. Up to this day, you have to trust God for finances, month to month, and it has been going on for 38 years. And God has been faithful with His promise, with His call, and with His word. Today we have about 260 kids in the program. We have over 100 in the waiting list. They have enough space to put everybody in. But throughout the years, we have been able to prove ourselves to the community, and the results we have had, and created a great demand for parents not to put the children into the program. Your handouts out there, you have one first page up there where you've been asked about, think about the influence that you have in your family, in your community, in your nation, and internationally to minister to needy children. What opportunities are before you to nurture God's heart for children and to serve children you know they are in need. I'm not going to ask you to write this thing down, you can do it at home, but at least I'm going to ask you to look at the circle and put a little dot there about what kind of influence you have on the children in need. And when I describe my community, you can look back to your community and see the children who are in need around you. I mean, in Kansas City, there is children who are in need. In Egypt, or my church, there is children, single parents. There's always somebody there that might need your help, and what kind of influence you have out there. So put a dot there, and then hopefully by the end of the day, you can put a dot there or increase the dots that where you want to be in the future. I do want to describe a little bit about my community in Brazil, where we work in Brazil. And those pictures out there are very real. There's a lot of violence, a lot of crime on the streets. And kids sees dead bodies on the streets, and their friends shutting down, shoot down. And I personally have seen some 30 minutes before somebody got shot. I was walking in the alley and I saw somebody, a teenage boy was shot down by gang violence. And I saw the people around, just a scene like this. And how much people's lips are dry and how much their eyes is kind of, instead of all so dry. And to see that kind of scene in front of them from somebody they knew it. And so the kid sees the police, sees the shooting, sees the gangs, sees the fight, they hear, they smell, they know when somebody else gets shot long range or close range because of the size of the hole in the body or whatever that is, or he got 3 shots from close range or long range. So they grew up knowing those kind of things. So this is the community that we work with right now in Brazil, and they're trying to address those needs in Brazil. So you can look,
So I'm sorry interrupting you. So are you talking about like the daily life? Like this is a daily life?
yeah.
Like every day has this kind of shooting?
Well, I don't say every day, but at least once a week, once every 2 weeks. It's random. It's random. Could be the drug dealers fighting themselves, or the police chasing drug dealers in the area. Yeah, it's sometimes the occurrences can happen 2 or 3 times a week or a day or more in the evening. But it's a very, very present thing that's going on.
And that's in your area, like you.
That's right, exactly.
Not in everywhere in Brazil. Like,
No, that's my area. My area represents a little bit of what's going all over Brazil.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a little bit of what's going on over Brazil.
But your favela is known as a very nice place to live. I mean, it's a risky place to live.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, that's why I think that's, yeah.
Yeah. It's a risk place to live.
Risky.
Risky.
Risky place to live.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we put our life in risk at the time we go out in and out of
Right.
gates. Yeah.
Is Sao Paulo is dangerous than your city, or like Sao Paulo?
São Paulo is bigger crimes.
Okay.
Yeah. In Rio de Janeiro. Yeah. In Fortaleza is another one of them. Yeah. And so, but think about the community. How can you describe your community? How can you describe your church? And how can you do something to help the children in your community? This is my community. It's part of your guide sheet over here today, and you can look back when you go home, and you can answer those questions. So I wrote down the things over here that has been my experience, my learning process, my story, because it has been about 38 years of work with the children, and I have put it together something that is very essential to anyone that thinks about working with homeless or street children or needy children, whatever it is in your community. I think there's a little special kinds of things that I have learned in my own thought process. So the number one, helping poor children in need is not only our Christian duty, you can write it down, but also means for us that we can know God. And sometimes we think about what it can do to others, but then later on we realize how much God is doing through you, how much God is working in your life to shape your life to what you wanted to become. I guarantee to you that if it wasn't for the needs, the problems, the difficulties that I face every day in life with the children, I would not be on my knees as much as I would be if I had a good life and go to church on Sunday and back again to work. And I think ministries is a tremendous way that we have to know God and to be known by God. It's a way to get closer to Him through our trials and difficulties And in the process, we help. So in James, in the second, we also have a biblical mandate to teach children and pass on our experiences. So when we work with children, we don't sometimes the children learn more about who you are, what you do, yourself, than when you teach them. Because kids, most of the kids are kinetic. They learn by experience, they learn by touch, they learn by feeling. So it is so important for us to know, to give a good example for children. When I was growing up, even in the church, in the Catholic Church, we've been taught not to get associated with the poor, not to be associated with street children. There is the things you do in the church and the things that you give it to what the church is doing. So there's sort of a distance between that. And I remember at the time that when I was a little boy growing up in the Catholic Church, they teach you up to a certain age that Santa Claus is like God. God give you gifts. And I have got my gifts for Christmas. And next day I walk into the slum community to see what the kids got from God. And they were hungry, they were naked, they didn't know what Santa Claus was. And I immediately developed a sense of injustice against God, because how come I grew up with a good life, a good house, good caring family, caring parents, and my friends, the kids next door, didn't have anything to eat on that day. So on one side I received a sense of love and caring, and the other side I saw injustice. So I felt like for the first time a sense of injustice, that God was not fair, that God was injustice. And I never balanced that throughout many years in my life. And but it's not something that the church teach you to get involved with the poor and help the poor. At least it has been my experience. It was in the process in life that I have learned that we needed to get involved with Christians. So it is our Christian duty, and it is a way that we have to know God. So. Any questions so far?
They suppose they are Catholic?
The poorest Catholic?
Yeah, the population?
75%.
75%?
Yeah, 75% Brazil is Catholic. Our role is to break down barriers that prevent children from the knowledge of their Heavenly Father and saving presence of Jesus. This includes being a good role model. Working with children on the streets, there's always a fear or distrust of people around you, and there is a sense of having to break down that fear, break down that sense of distrust from adults when they work with them. And I remember the time that when we worked with the street children, they were afraid of going hungry. They were afraid of not having enough to eat. And when they came to the program, we began to feed 6 meals a day. It was breakfast, snacks, lunch, snacks, dinner, and snacks, for them to break the fear of not going hungry, to begin to listen to you. But one of the major things that I felt like was a major challenge to break down, it was a sense of belonging. So the children, because they've been broken down from homes and being let down by the state, let down by schools, let down by church, let down by families. They distrust everything and they have a tremendous sense of needing to belong to something. And they associate belonging to other children on the streets to fulfill that need. So even though sometimes you take them off the streets and put them in the program, they still associate it back with their friends and the children on the streets. And so as an adult, it is important to us for them to become a good role model for them, because all the kids wants to, because they don't have an image, a good image of their parents, they will be trying to copy somebody that is closer to you, somebody looking after you. So whether you are a pastor, a Sunday school teacher, or a teacher, or a worker, or with the children, they focus on you with the eyes and beam on you, because you become a role model to each of them. And even when I'm in a program, or sometimes I'm down or something, they notice that. I mean, what's going on? Is there a problem there? So they're trying to encourage you because they watch you. They're looking for ways that they can copy someone. So it's always good to pass on our experience, tell our stories. Our greatest time that we have in our lives is when we spend time with our children, children and grandchildren, when we tell stories, when you work with them, and you'll become a role model to each one of them. If you wish to care for children in any capacity, you must first pursue God, study His Word, and ask for only person revelation in His love. In His love. John 5:16. In Matthew 18:3, he said, "Truly I tell you," he said, "unless you become like a little children, you'll never enter the kingdom of heaven." Matthew 18:13. Is how important it is to see that that God is pointing to the children that unless you become like them, you'll not inherit the kingdom of heaven. And one of the things that I feel has been very important, very eye-opening to me, is how adaptable children are. For me, it's an incredible thing to see children who doesn't have running water, who doesn't have sewage in the house, sometimes they don't have anything to eat, and they have a smile, and they have joy. So how adaptive they are when they are close to family, when they are close to relative, and how they adjust to that. And so it's perhaps is a value that God wants to pass it on to us, how adaptable we should be in our lives, in our relationships, in our changing life. Because sometimes we're not very much adaptable. We want things the way we want them to be. And I think to be adaptable is a very, very, very important thing for us. How kids are vulnerable, how kids run to adults for support and for help. And this is also a great value that the Lord said, unless you become like little children, you're not inherit the kingdom of heaven. In trusting, to be able to trust someone is a fundamental value that we need to have in the children. When we win the trust of children, they're able to just listen to you, get an education, get a hope, and get a future. And sometimes when we are in the playground, and I see the children play, and I see them enjoy themselves in the program, I see how important it is to create that ambiance of trust, that they can play, enjoy themselves, and be children again. So to teach children, work with children, is a very important thing. Because if we don't teach the children to follow Christ, somebody else will teach not to. It's a very important space that we need to create Because if you don't open up this space to receive the children, somebody for good things, somebody else will open their door to open the children and look on the bad things. And I see in my past experience working with children, and now how sometimes the void of not having the parents to take to raise the children, to take to school, how the drug dealers now are using the kids to teach them not to follow Christ. I have one of the students 7 years of age. He lives with his aunt. He doesn't have too much supervision, and the drug dealers are using this kid to watch the neighborhood, to watch this alley between 7 and 10 o'clock, to tell the drug dealer who's coming in the area, who is different, that doesn't live there. So he wants to know everybody that walks that alley that doesn't live there. So he's in the payroll of the drug dealers. He get a salary, and just to be able to tell the drug dealer, 7 years of age. So that little boy should be in the school, that little boy should be in the church, that little boy should be in the family, should be someplace. So whenever we avoid, we don't create our programs in the schools, in the church, whatever, in the soccer field. I mean, if you have a ball, if you have hands, you have anything, that you can work with children, because they are very adaptable, they are willing to listen, they're willing to learn. And anything, we will start a ministry. We will take the time from the children, from someone that will teach them not to follow Christ. Is very relevant for us to do our work and what we do. So if we don't teach, somebody else will teach not to follow Jesus. We needed to be open to. Aware of the corruption in the world today. What's going on with the world of children? Even though I work with the children, even though I work in the very troubled community, there are things I don't even know. As I just heard recently, about a couple of months ago, that there are some brothels in Midtown that is run by police officers. I didn't even know. And those kids come from Islam communities like us, who perhaps didn't have a church or a school or family to support them. They ended up in the hands of in the brothels or in the hands of police officers that makes money out of those kids, exploiting those kids. And I have some questions for you up there on your forum up there. Is the questions. Globally, how many people live in severe poverty today with less than $1.9 a day? Anybody want to take a shot?
60%.
Huh?
60%.
60% of the world, less than $1 a day. I don't know how much it is in the days is 700 million. These are from the United Nations website. Over 700 million children globally live in poverty with less than $1 a day.
This is in Brazil or
Global. So is that an avenue for us to start a ministry and work with people? Of course it is. Because the Bible says, even a glass of water in my name will not lose its reward. A plate of food in my name will not lose its reward. I said, that's how I began 30 years ago, with a cup of coffee and a little bread to the kids. So today is a great ministry. 17 staff members, 38 years of ministry, thousands of kids being helped, kids in college, kids in business, lives being changed, kids in ministry, kids young people doing consultancy for large firms, and all because the work of one person, all because one Brazilian nut who said, yes, Lord, what do you want me to do? And here we are. And how much more he can do if we decided in our own works in church in business, trying to do something for one. It always takes one. It's all it takes one. So God wants to care for one. If He gives us one, He gives two, He gives three, He gives four, He gives 100. He keeps increases your quiver. And being informed about the world's children. True or false? 1 in 5 children are victims of war. True or false? True. Yeah. And this is another avenue that I'm not even there. I've never been in front wars and battles. I never worked with children, victims of war. And perhaps the Lord has a call for you to work with children who are victims of war. I have no idea how to start, how it works. My work has been in Brazil, the Islam community, the children, the drug dealing, and the great role models. That's been my work there. But I have no idea how to work with children victims of war. And I'm not sure if my brothers from Egypt or the Middle East has experience with that, but it is a very, very real thing today to care for children, to be separated for families in victims of war. What percentage of children between 6 months and 2 years are not eating fruits and vegetables? Kind of hard. A lot, yeah. About 45%. 45% of the world's children are not eating fruits and vegetables. These carbs, most of the carbs you fill in the stomachs, and sometimes leaves, as I have seen it before. And if you have a mineral deficiency in your body, you never develop to a full what you should. Your body should develop, and they're never going to produce well in school, in education, or jobs, or whatever else that is out there. So is that an avenue to work yourself into a ministry for children who doesn't have minerals and vegetables? You set up a fruit kitchen, soup kitchen in the house, in the church, in the school, and teach children, bring the children there, they will be there. True or false? In 2016, 1 in 5 children did not attend school. True. Yeah. 263 million by UNESCO are not attending school. For example, in Brazil, a lot of children who live in rural areas, in the Amazon, the northeast of Brazil, that's far away from any center with groceries, a hospital, a doctor. So the teachers are not going to go there, take the families there to teach school. So the kids end up working in farms, in sugarcane plantations, agriculture, and never learn anything. It's very illiterate. How many children are being trafficked for commercial or sexual exploitation?
It's a lot. It's a huge number.
Yeah, 250 million, according to Save the Children. Save the Children says that at least 250 million who lives in commercially or sexually exploited. On the outskirts of a city, there is a rock place that make those rock blocks for the roads, and a lot of the parents and the children work by chipping, and they get lung problems. And I think the first proposal how to develop a heart for children, and I think I'm coming to the heart of the whole time together with you guys, and it's one of the major things that I feel like is important for us to know is to accept the fact that you don't know everything. When you feel like you know everything, you're on the wrong track. When you feel like you do not know everything, I believe God can teach you some things. And another important things that that I have learned throughout the many years of work is through weakness, God can work through you. When you feel like you know everything, He will let you think that you know everything. And to allow yourself to say, I do not know everything, I need to learn some things, and I always have a teachable spirit. It's always good to work with situations like that. And to choose to accept weakness as something in your life is a good way that God can work through you. In 2 Corinthians 9:12, it says, but he said, my grace is sufficient to you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore I boast all the more gladly about my weakness, so that Christ's power may rest in me. That is for Christ's sake I delight in weakness, in insults, in hardships, in persecutions, in difficulties, in hard times and weakness. For when I'm weak, then I'm strong. So we in ministry, God kind of give us a course that in ministry you're going to find persecution, you're going to find difficulties, you're going to find hardships. People's going to doubt your work. People's going to doubt what you do. People's going to create doubts about what you do, the motivations of what you're doing. At the very beginning, when I began to work with the orphanage, some people in the community was telling that I was going to ship the kids to America, that I was sending people to America. Another one said I'm going to take the kidney out to sell it. There's a lot of crazy things that is being thrown against me. People saying that I keep money for the ministry. So a lot of insults and hardships. The Lord knows that you're going to go through all this. In the ministry, you're going to go through all those difficult times. And I was sued for the parents. So I had a program with the bakery, and the kids were being trained in the bakery, and some of the parents felt like I was using the kids to abuse them in labor. So I was sued for labor courts. So for 3 years I defended myself against 150 lawsuits that was being exploited the kids, when it was not the truth. It was a complete lie, fabricated, and at the end of 3 years I won all the cases. But if I lost one of the cases, it was $1,500 a piece for 150 people. I had to just sell everything I got just to be able to do the work. So it was a very distressful time, and I questioned myself, Lord, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? As I could just pack my bags and leave. And for many times you feel tempted about doing this, but it is through vulnerability, it is through surrender to Christ that you find the strength to get up next day and keep moving. So in these many years of work, I have seen a lot of people with money wanting to help children, and they faded away with arrogance about helping children in ministry, and walked away. And I feel like in my life, allow ourselves to know that God knows everything, can work through you. Allow yourself to be vulnerable and depend on Him has been a great value for my life. I have seen God's hands and God's deliverance in my life for many years. And sometimes when you try to defend yourself, you have a tendency to become closer and cynical about helping people because you're afraid of getting hurt. And when you get hurt, when you close yourself, you lose the sense of sensibility. So it becomes more an obligation and a duty to do something rather than a joy. So one of the values that I treasure in my own walk, in my own journey with the Lord, is joy. I mean, even though we have difficult times, as you described to you over there, we have to find joy. We have to find ways to have joy. And you gotta be passionate about what you do, and you have a sense of zeal for what you do. So those three things, those five things, accept the fact that you do not know everything. Choose, accept weakness because God can work through you on those times. Have joy in what you do. May laugh about your mistakes. Enjoy yourself in the process. And laugh about what's going on, and have a sense of joy, a passion for what you do, and have a zeal to defend the work. Because you're not gonna, not everybody comes around you want to really help you. They want to just hurt you or take over or do something. So those are very things to develop a heart of compassion for needy children. Because those are not your children. Your children is different. I mean, you love your grandchildren and children, but those children doesn't belong to you. Children who's gonna create problems to you. So how you gonna, in your journey, in your life, create a heart that will be compassionate for children? Because above all things, it's God that feels that compassion. It's God's children, it's God's ministry, it's God's call, and He invited us to be involved in His call, in His work, and to allow yourself to be vulnerable, and allow yourself to know that you don't realize that you don't know everything is a great value. Yeah, it's a great value for your work and your development work with the children. Other great value is spend time with children. So the greatest commodity that we have in our lives is our time. So when you spend time with people, you get to know people, you build relationships. When you get to spend time with your grandson, grandchildren, granddaughter, is you always build something, you build relationships. Children, needy children, and her children is no different. They need time. So one of the first things that I recommend people when they come to a mission trip to Brazil, you go to the playground, spend time with the children. And the children loves it because it's rare that they spend time with adults. They do not spend too much time with adults. So when adults comes in and play football and play ropes and run on the playground and spend time with them, they love it because they enjoy themselves. So you get to know them and you get to remember them. When you play and you spend time with people, it is a very, very important value that we can add to the lives of the children. There's a natural tendency that we fall in love with someone when we spend time with them, when you know their needs, when you listen to what they need, is very important. Play soccer and so on. And the other thing is listen to the children because they are listening to you. So when they say something, when they tell something to you, it is so important that we can really listen to what they're saying because we add value to their lives. I have to face one time of that I have to humble myself and say that I heard the children and I have to humble myself to change the direction of the ministry. So from 1983 to 1997, I was working with homeless kids on the streets, sniffing glue and so on, and I began to see all the hurts and all the stabbing, all the shooting, and all the sexual abuse, the rapes. And I said, God, how can we prevent all of this? And I went into the streets and asked these kids, when could you best be helped? And they said, well, before my father abused my mother and kicked us out of the house, before I left school, and before my parents abandoned me. All stories that trace back to a preventive work. And I have to change the shift of the ministry, began to work with children to create role models and to create, help the family to stay together. And I have to refocus the whole ministry because I want to help children. And I came to the point that helping prevent children to be on the street was just as much as important as the one working in the children's street. So I have to listen to them and be humble and change that. Some things that we have learned in the process of working with children, three things that I feel like is very important. Respect. So always respect the children. Never take for granted. It's respect them. Respect. Because when you respect someone, you bring up their dignity. You bring up value in their lives. Don't treat them as a nobody. Don't treat them as if they are outcasts. Don't treat them as they are not amount to anything. Because that's what they hear every day in their lives. At home, you're not going to be any good. You're not going to amount to anything. you're going to be a prostitute like your mother, you're going to be a drug dealer like your father. They always listen to negative, 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 negative. And what's going to help you to make a difference in your work with children, in your ministry, is respect, because they listen different message. We love you, we care for you, you is special, you have a lot of value, you have a lot of worth. If they hear this, they begin to compare the two worlds and make a choice. Because before they had no choice, they were all bad, all bad, all bad. And so respect where they live, believe their potential, because they do not believe themselves. Because they began to believe on those children that they can amount to something, they can study, they can go to college, they can be the best they can be. If you dance, be the best dancer in the world. If you can sing, be the best singer in the world. If you can run, be the best runner in the world. Always point to greatness. Never believe they can be less than that. So always point out to greatness, because they will be great and they will be responding to you. So believe them, because they do not believe themselves. So it's very important that we can pass it on to the children, and because that's what we have received from our parents. In my own upbringing, I was fortunate enough to have parents, good parents, and they invest in you, they expect you to become somebody, they expect you to go to college, they expect you to graduate from college, expect you to have a good family, expect you to good life. There's an expectation, so you respond to somebody that loves you. So when you respect, when you believe, and when you expect something out of them, it's very, very important for their uplifting and their upbringing. And in our ministry, we have a chart of evaluation, how the kids comes in, how he responds, how he's obeying, how he's incorporated in the program, how he listens, how he changes. So in your ministry, in your program, it's always good to have some kind of a chart of evaluation of the results their kids are achieving, that you can even show them. When the parents comes over, you can show the parents, look, your son came over here, he was this way, now he's over here, and he's doing something else. Nurture responsibility in leadership. Well, our work with the children is never about what they're doing right now, but what they will become. So we're looking into them to become role models in the community, members of transformation. So we have a chance for about 7 years to accomplish that. So we're not only training for today, which we are, but our end result is that they'll become role models in the community. And we have tremendous example of children who has finished photography classes, has been very good in photography, has been hired by the state to take pictures of the World Cup, and he's taking pictures of very prestigious hotels to sell tickets to go to Brazil. And he competes with another French guy, and he is a student of mine. Today you walk into his house, has ceramic door, ceramic wall, has aluminum gate, has a car, and everybody knew he was the son of the guy who sold animals, cats and dogs, and his mother has abandoned them, and he had been raised by 3 brothers. So the mother left, the father left, and 3 brothers raised themselves. They all did well. And the youngest one became a photographer, and he's very prestigious. He does some of the media that we have, he does that himself. So when we expect results and cast the dreams ahead of them, and they will respond to you. They will respond to you. And because we expect so many things, we have a great example that who could ever believe that kids in the Islam community from Brazil, from those areas that you saw up there, would ever walk in front of the White House. 2006, they walked in front of the White House. 2006, they shook the hands of Chuck Schumer, the senator from New York. In 2006, they were in the Bronx, in Manhattan, sharing food with the street kids, with the people in New York. The kids from the Islam community in Brazil would have a broken house, broken door, and so on, because we expected to get somewhere. So in your work, never help the poor kids, never look down on them, but look at them as a future assets of your country. The future of your country is right there. It's being left alone, and it could become great potential of change for the world. And one of my greatest dream and goal is to send missionaries for all over the world, from the Islam community that I work with right now. So broaden their horizons, birth the dreams, because we all products of dreams from our parents, our schools, our educational system, and birth the dreams, and encourage them the dreams, and encourage them to do the best they can be for Christ. I think I concluded over here. If you have any questions.
The percentage was about 10%.
Huh?
The percentage of the 700 million is about 10% of the 10 to 11% of the world's population.
Okay.
Just for you to know.
Yeah, thank you.
My mom wants to know how many kids do you work with?
Right now, we have 260. 260. From 7th to 9th grade. From 7th to 14. Yeah. Then you have about 100 in the waiting list. And prior to 2008, we had 350 children. 2008 was a very difficult time financially in America, and we have to downsize because of lack of income.
They want to ask you which city your ministry has.
The city of Fortaleza, the northeast of Brazil. Have you met them? Yeah, Fortaleza. North of Rio de Janeiro, about 3 hours.
بعيد عن ريو دي جانيرو دي العاصمة تنسى.
It's about 2.3 million people.
النسبة 4 من 10 مليون.
And there are about 700 shanty towns like mine over there, like that one you saw it.
So you are providing tuition or accommodation?
Huh?
You are providing accommodation to these kids or?
No, no. For about 15 years, I provided accommodations. It was an orphanage. But from 1997 to now, I work with the families in the community. And a lot of them are children. 60% of the children that I have, that we have in the program, are children at risk. Children who are no longer raised by parents. Is raised by grandparents, by aunts and uncles, or moved from house to house. We have a young girl, Adrienne, I don't have a picture there. That today she spent a month in one house, her sister's house, another month in another house, because they lost both parents. She lost both parents. The father got killed in a drug deal, and the mother left the house.
So you don't give a shelter to?
No, I don't provide dorms anymore. They live in the houses in the area. So they commute to the program every day in the morning or in the afternoon. It's about 15 minutes walk, 20 minutes walk, sometimes half an hour walk from where they live. They come to the program. I'll converge there.
Yeah, Pastor Akron is of course.
أنا بالنسبة لي بتعرض لخبرة جديدة جدا بالنسبة لخدمة الأطفال بالنسبة للبرازيل يعني لأنه في مصر عندنا يمكن تكون مختلفة شوية. أنا كنت عايز أعرف الخبرة أنتوا إزاي بتتبنوهم فترة قد إيه؟ يعني هم بياخدوهم قد إيه وقت؟
هو يعني هو شرح بس انت قولي يا
He's asking that Pastor Akram has this ministry as a new aspect. So he's asking from which age, how old is the kids? From like you said that from 7th grade till 7th grade till 9th grade?
From 2nd grade to 9th grade, from 7 to 14.
بياخدوهم من عمر 7 سنين ل 14 سنة. This is sleeping, eating, everything.
No, there's not a board school
دي مش مدرسة
anymore.
داخلية خالص.
But we do the feeding program.
لكن ده مجرد برنامج للأكل بس.
You give one meal.
It's 7,000 meals per month.
7000 وجبة في الشهر.
Yeah, a nutritious meal in the morning, in the afternoon for the kids.
وجبات
دي الطريقة اللي هم بيغطوا بيها التحدي دي.
And it's a half day
How
program.
could you
It's a
fundraise؟
halftime.
Yeah.
It's a halftime because
ده مجرد نص
we
وقت.
follow the public school
احنا
system.
بنتبع المدارس العامة،
In
المدارس
public
العامة.
school up to ninth grade, kids only go to school 4 hours a day.
من بعد التسعة سن اللي هي التسعة جريد، بعد كده بيتبعوا المدارس عندهم في البرازيل بتتبع نص اليوم. مش full day.
I take the other 4 hours that they would have been in the streets, come to the program.
بياخدوا بقية النص اليوم بدل ما يتوزعوا كده في الشارع وتجار المخدرات ياخدوهم، هو بياخدهم يرعاهم ويقدم لهم أكل.
It's a Christian program. It's an after school that teaches all the subjects in the school.
بيدرس كل
Math,
موضوعات المدرسة،
Portuguese,
برتغالي،
science, history.
وحساب وعلوم وتاريخ.
And in addition to that, we teach arts, music, drama, computer classes, sports,
وسبورتس رياضة سoccer.
and 4 times a year we have special events like a vocational trade, like health, like hygiene. They study and then they put a study on those topics. Citizenship.
بيدرسوهم كمان مواد إضافية خاصة بالصحة.
وبياخدوا شهادات من الدولة إن هم.
It is certified from the government.
Yes. Yes. Everybody is paid employees,
كل حد
and I pay all the taxes. He is certified by city, state, and federal.
وخد كل الشهادات اللي بينفع الحكومة تكون وثقها لهم. As long as they go to the college, so it's certified.
In the past, I have worked with them all the way through college.
بيدخلوهم لحد ما يوصلهم الكلية.
I paid the scholarship for them to go to college.
وهو كمان بيدفع الفلوس بتاعت الجامعة، فلوس الجامعة.
Right now, because of all the violence during teenage years, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 years old,
فترة المراهقة.
yeah, the public school is holding them in school right now for the whole day.
البابليك سكول بسبب العنف فترة المراهقة، البابليك سكول قالت لا أنا هاخدهم كل اليوم.
If I want, I can show a quick video.
ممكن يورينا كويس.
I don't know what your schedule is, but there is no sound. How does it sound?
Okay, no problem.
What does it sound? This is here. This is here. This is the sound.
أكرم كان عامل مدرسة داخلية، كان عامل بيته.
There's one.
Okay.
نفس الفكرة.
Huh? Okay.
Your PowerPoint?
2008 لما اقتصاد أمريكا وقع، هو قفل الدور، الدور مقفل.
Close the PowerPoint.
ومصر هيحصل لك كده عشان
أنا جاية معاك أشترك في الخدمة.
It goes. Oh, it disappeared.
Down here. Oh, sorry. Down here. There. There you go. And then you can extend it.
Do what?
Go up to your right. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, this little arrow that goes out. There you go. Now push play.
Go back some.
Perfect.
There's one thing that children all over the world have in common, and that's energy. Kids love to play, they're curious, and they want to find out about the world around them. But it's that very essence of childhood that poverty can quickly steal from a child growing up in the slums of Brazil. Fortaleza in the northeast state of Ceará is home to 2.5 million people. The beaches are a tropical paradise, but despite recent economic growth, there are still hundreds of thousands of people in the city living on less than $2 a day. In the overcrowded slums or favelas, having a home means that you have
That's
poorly
behind the house.
constructed walls on invaded land. These homes have no planning
That's in
controls,
front.
no sewage systems, improvised plumbing, and often no road access. These are the physical conditions of the slums. The social conditions are even worse. Drug-related gang violence is unquestionably the biggest problem in the favelas of Fortaleza. The local papers report murders every day of the week. The majority of the victims are under 25. Even though most people in the slums just want to work and have a chance at a better life, they are forced to live under the control of these gangs. Daily life, which is already hard because of physical poverty, is made even worse by violence, which adds insecurity, fear, grief, and desperation. After an interrupted night of sleep in a room of 7 or 8 people, undernourished children have to literally dodge bullets to get to school, often only to find that the school is closed because teachers are on strike. This is where Channel to Brazil for Christ steps in.
So our work takes place here in the heart of the slum community, and primarily what we're trying to do is offer children a safe place to be during the daytime. The slums are incredibly dangerous places, and what happens is children who live and are growing up in the slums, they see and hear everything that's going on, and so they come into the program and they're consumed with worry and with stories of the violence and the difficulties, domestic abuse, and problems in the home that they're experiencing. So really what we're trying to do is provide a place where they can come, they can feel safe and loved, and know that they're special and that they're cared for.
Each child at the project receives an additional 20 hours of education per week. State schools in the favelas are underfunded and offer only 4 hours of schooling per child per day, either in the morning or in the afternoon. So if children go to state school in the morning, they can enroll at the project in the afternoon, and vice versa. This supervision also allows the parents to go out and find work for peace of mind that their children are being cared for, rather than being alone or at risk on the streets.
We have to be creative working with children growing up here as well. Not just being teachers to them, but also being aunts and uncles, counselling them, encouraging them, comforting them. We also have to employ special teaching methods that inspire the children to learn and help them through some of the difficult circumstances that they're facing. Christian teaching is at the heart of everything that we do here. The slums of Brazil are lawless places, and there's no common sense of values or no sense of community here for the children. So it's essential that we offer them a moral compass and a set of values that they can build their lives upon.
In addition to the school curriculum, children here also have the opportunity to engage in other activities such as dance, sports, and IT classes. The project also holds special events throughout the year to involve parents and promote family values. Today, most of the children refer to the project as an oasis or as their second home. Former students have gone on to become the first ones in their community to finish school and go to college. They are now working in local and even multinational companies or starting their own businesses.
Now
One
27.
graduate, Michael, has returned to the project as teacher, and there are several other former students who regularly volunteer their time.
We have good example in Egypt, from America, Lillian Trusher. Do you know?
But this is an orphanage.
We have a program called Dream Builders, which is a way for you to connect with everything that is happening here at the project on a daily basis. A dream builder is a person like you who believes in the future of these children and helps to build dreams child by child, day by day.
And my greatest hope is that the children we work with today can become the future leaders of Brazil. And that's why we work so hard, and that's why our staff works so hard, and that's all of our people are here today because they believe in making a difference.
Thank you for watching this video and for helping us change lives one child at a time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
If you have any questions, please ask me, but I want to dismiss prayer or dismiss you guys,
Yeah.
that you can just follow your schedule. Father, thank you, Jesus, for everyone that attended this seminar, oh God. And I pray that you have your ways in our lives here, that our lives should be turned to the hearts of the children, oh God. And I pray that you enable us to see your call for each one of us. Bless the ministers, the leaders in this room, this group, and open up our eyes, oh Jesus, for the children, for the needs of children all over the world. In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen. God bless you.
God bless you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Food.
I was
For
supporting you.
different I have
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I have, let's see,
I have one.
this, this,
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
Only one.
this,
Yes.
yeah,
Only one.
only one,
I took
okay,
this.
yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Thank you.
The one, okay, all right.